Some of the places my profile reviews go is crazy. The video you guys are about to watch is me doing a live profile review, which you can check out in the link in the bio, of me basically going through a really, really niche jungle concept that doesn't blow this guy's mind, but basically opens him up to be thinking about how you need to think about solo queue in terms of what you can control and what you can't control. Let's get into it. To any of that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I wanted to go a bit deeper into it, but obviously it's like we can do it whenever you want. You know, if you want to go over my profile first, that's totally fine. But it's like basically when you told me about like for example, how to gank, like obviously, yeah, I know it's like like I definitely use my F keys in order to make sure that like let's say lane is pushed up like towards our tower, so I can just if I'm playing a high mobility champion, I can just run back with the enemy as I basically, well, yeah, kite them in melee range. But it's um it's still a bit weird because sometimes, let's say, my laner might be like half HP, the enemy laner might be full HP, and I see them on top lane, for example. So it's like, okay, I have this gank that's set up for me, it's perfect, and let's say I'm on my wolves, right? So I'm gonna do my wolves, and then in order to like not miss the opportunity, I'm gonna skip a gromp. Let's say I already have my blue, or I don't, like, the blue isn't up, for example, like it hasn't spawned yet.
Yeah.
Because like it's like a bit deeper into the game. It's like I'll do my wolves, and as soon as I get there, I use like a jungle pathing, obviously, which is like I try to avoid any control wards or wards that have been placed inside of the not the tri-bush on top lane, but the what's it called? The long bush, basically.
In river?
So like the river bush. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I'll stick to the right side of the wall, like towards Herald,
Yeah.
and then I'll go inside of the lane. Now the problem is that like once I start to get there, the enemy top laner is already backing off.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm still gonna try because like they're not like under tower or in tower range yet. They're not.
On my little diagram here, this is the ally
Yeah,
turret. Where are we talking? Like, where's the enemy
like
top laner before they see you?
well, normally they should be pushed up, right? They should be like because their wave is there. Yeah, that's where they should be, basically.
Got it.
But where they would be is around the middle point.
Yeah.
So yes, somewhere there. So I definitely think that it might be from time to time like my own pathing, or maybe they have a ward in the tri-bush.
Yeah.
However, it's also like I don't know how to like simultaneously be able to communicate with my top laner in order for them to be like very um like to just like keep farming and like trying to dodge like any skill shots or attacks the enemy top laner might send on them, while not giving away the fact that they're getting ganked. Because, for example, every time I go top lane, let's say I'm playing against any tank top lane, like for example, I could be playing against Sion, Ornn, etc. Uh, as soon as the enemy jungler is ganking, like I can instantly tell a switch. It's like if they're low HP, they might like start like going in or like charging like different
Yeah.
attacks that are
Yeah. They
going to
start doing
CC
something
me.
they
So
they haven't
yeah,
normally done. Yeah. They flag it.
because
Yeah.
I always play like semi-mobile top laners. For example, I play a lot of Aatrox. Like as soon as I see that, just out of pure safety precaution, I just start like spamming E backwards, and what's it called? If I do see the enemy jungler, I start ulting and like running away in case I need to ult. But it's like I feel like it's very easily telegraphed even in lower elo when something is wrong, because it's like if your laner is 1 HP and then all of a sudden they like gain the confidence to start like trying to pick a fight with you, they definitely have a numbers advantage, right? I feel like that's just like a bit more common sense than people might think, like even in people who are lower elo. So it's kind of like, it's very weird having having to communicate with my laners and also like try to keep them not on a leash per se, but not being like overtly aggressive to the point where their laner is going to be alerted of a gank before I can even show up on any type of vision they might have placed down.
Cool. Okay, let's break down. Okay, it's a good example. First thing is, I think you're giving solo queue players in your elo too much credit. People are almost always unaware of ganks, like the majority of the time. I think the more reason you'll fail the gank isn't the enemy knowing, it will be your pathing and your ally, which you rightly put out. The second thing is there's a few things you can do to guarantee gank success. The first one is communication, like you've said, right? The only communication you need to do to flag a gank is the on my way ping. You do not need to manage any other type of communication to a laner that you're going to gank. 1 to 3 on my way pings is fine. If they're not going to respond to that, they're probably not a play that's worth ganking in the future, like if it goes wrong. So the first thing is communicating on my way, and then making sure you can see that they've recognized it. So do they respond with an on my way ping? Do they respond with an assistance ping? Do they give you any acknowledgement that they know you're coming to gank? That's the first thing.
The thing that I definitely kind of get irritated by, but it's not like to the point where I'll like lose my mental or anything. Just slightly irritated by it is the fact that like whenever I do the on my way ping, the only communication I get is either a thumbs up, which I can't really see. Like it's on the top left of my screen, and I'm already looking like at every like different possibility, if that makes sense, for ganking. Because
cool. That's fine. Again, communication, it's one part. It won't determine the success, right? The next thing you got to do is your pathing. So the example you used to me, you've already taken the wrong path. In the example you gave to me, where you've done wolves, blue isn't up, and so you're coming to gank a top laner who's here, right?
Yeah.
So there's 2 better paths than what you've done, where you will go to river and kind of hug the herald side of the map. The first one is you actually go up through mid lane, and you come round, and this is the enemy red buff, and you come in through Tribush here. And then the other one is you go through Tribush, because if the enemy top laner sees you on vision but he's here, you don't give a fuck, because you're sitting here in front of his tower. Like where's he gonna go? Up here, down there? Like if he goes down there, you guys collapse, right?
yeah.
So like, I think.
Sorry, it's just the wording, because I've already like done a few like free introductory things on Metafy with like other coaches, and like I've never had a coach like just blatantly go like, no, you don't give a fuck, like you can just stay here, like that.
Yeah, well, because like the only place they can go without dying
understand your point,
is through you, right? And that's why jungle pathing is so important, because you always want the enemy to come to you. You don't want to be going to the enemy. You want to be putting yourself in between their safe zone and where they currently are. So the second thing is path.
That's something that I actually learned by playing Hecarim a lot.
Yeah, Hecarim's a good example because of his E.
Using my E to knock him back. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a great one to learn. Warwick's kind of a good one to learn about that as well because of his Q dash.
I mean, for me, it's like, honestly, with Warwick, I don't really like the champion because I don't think that he has like enough mechanics or enough carry potential, unless he's ahead and the game ends early and there's no scaling on the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really worry about champs up until you get Diamond. Like, champs really don't matter. Yeah. You could play Ivan to Diamond, you could play Fiddle, you could play Warwick, you could play any meta, like any normal jungler. You could play Skarner to Diamond. There's one trick Skarners in Masters Challenger. But I know what you mean. I think it's more important about what your personal preference is. If you don't like Warwick personally, then don't play him. Yeah, you play the champs that you're enjoying, like your Talon, maybe your Hecarim, whatever you've said in the past. But yeah, the second thing I want to talk about with this gank example you've given me is I think you're just putting way too much weight on everyone else but yourself. So you're putting a lot of emphasis on your ally and what they do, which you can't control. And you're putting a lot of emphasis on the enemy top laner, which you can't really control other than your gank path. So what I'd say is if you just set up a gank properly, you communicate you're on your way, the enemy is in a compromised position, and that you see as you're engaging that your ally top laner is also going to engage with you. That's all you need to know for a gank. And if it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out. But you've given yourself the highest probability of that gank working. And to think about ganks any more than that at your current level, there's no point. You'll have bigger problems that you need to solve other than like the perfect gank every single time. And overthinking, your allies' thumbs up or did they acknowledge my gank? Because you'll be able to tell as soon as you come into lane, are they going to help you or not? And if they don't help you and you don't win the 1v1, then you just disengage the gank. It is pretty black and white once you can understand how to gank and is your ally top laner going to respond.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.